Welcome back, everybody. I know it's been a minute since the last video, but I think I have conquered the green hair algae and I got me some frags. And before you put any type of frags into your system, you gotta dip them. So my thing is I use Coral RX. This is the good stuff, you know. And let's just check out my haul that I got from Tank It Easy. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frags. All right, so let's go ahead and dip these fellas for the amount of time that Coral RX says, and let's get them on into this tank over here. It's been a minute since we've had some coral, so let's get to it. All right, so first up, we got some Euphyllia. You know, I like Euphyllia. I'm trying to start me a Euphyllia garden, and we're just going to take some scissors and snip the bag open, and I'm going to use my bucket that my red sea salt came in. Listen, when you get salt, don't throw away the buckets. Not all of them, because you can reuse them. And this is one of the times that I get a chance to reuse this bucket. So you make sure you get your money's worth. So I use it to dip coral in. Multi-use buckets. All right. And let's see here. Oh yeah. And just so you know, you always want to acclimate your coral. I've had these corals sitting in the sump, for about 30 minutes or so, just to make sure that they are temperature acclimated. And I'm going to also add some of my tank water on top of the water I got from Tank It Easy. So Tank It Easy has a really, really nice location. They moved and the store is bigger. They really have a coral farm. And I'll put the link in the description box down below if you are local to Chicago and you just want to go check them out. Really nice store. All right, and I think this is the last frag. Also, it's important that you have a table that you can mess up and get really wet. And I have this wooden table that I built very poorly, but that's okay. Now the instructions calls for 4 caps of this Coral RX per gallon. I have nowhere near a gallon of water in here, so I'm not going to use 4 caps, and I don't really want to stress out the coral. So I'm going to use 1 cap and 2 caps. That is roughly about 10 milliliters of Coral RX. And I am going to put some of my water from my sump, this little bitty cup, in here as well, just to mix the water. Now, one of the things you want to do while you're dipping your coral, and the purpose of mixing your water, is so that the coral frags can get used to your parameters while coming from whatever manufacturer or store that you got them from. But the good thing about it is I know that since they've been temperature acclimated for 30 minutes or so, and I know for a fact that Tank It Easy, they keep their alkalinity in their tanks at about 8.5. And the alkalinity in my tank is around about 8.9, so the difference really, there's not a real big significant difference here. So let's get a little bit more water. And I will keep dunking a little bit more water here every minute or so until I get enough water in here, and Coral RX says to leave this in for about 5 to 10 minutes. We're going to do about 7 minutes, and that should be enough to kill any bugs, and I use my storage. So until then, I won't make you guys look through the tedious portion of just waiting and waiting. We'll be back, or I'll bring you back once it's time to plug these boys in. Okay, so now that we've awaited the allotted time, so this is the bucket with the frags in it and the Coral RX. It's imperative that you have rinse water. So now we're going to take the frags from the Coral RX. This is all water in this bucket here, pure from the sump, ready to go. No Coral RX in this one right here. So now we're going to take the frags out, and we're going to rinse them off so they can get the Coral RX dip off of them. So we're going to put them in there, and then I'll show you one of the frags on how I put it in the tank. So let's look at it. One piece of this digitata to break off, I know what's going in the frag tank. And how I put corals on frags, number one, I use some aqua stick putty, and you mush it up in your hand. Now these gloves are somewhat of a nuisance, but I really don't want the chemical reaction that makes this stuff work. I don't want it to happen on my fingers, so it's a nuisance, but hey, safety first, right? So basically, once it gets mushed up, I will put a little glue on the frag, right, like that. Then I'll put this nice little piece of putty on the glue. I don't know if you can see that. And at this point, I can take off these gloves, because whatever chemical reaction is going to be had, I would like to believe in my little mind that it's happened. It's probably still happening. And I like to dump a little glue on top of here. And what this does is it helps the coral to stand up straight, because when you just try to glue a coral frag onto one of these little discs, they don't stand up straight. At least they don't stand up straight for me. So now you can see that right there. That is a perfect digi mount. And basically what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put it back in the rinse water bucket, and I'll just let it sit there for a little bit. So I'll go through and take care of the rest of these frags, and I'll bring you back once they're in the tank. No use in you going through the tedious process with me. Mounting corals to me is almost like a chore, but I love the way they look when we get them in. So give me a few minutes and we'll be right back. Alright, so I got the coral in the tank, and I want to show you how the coral, but when you first put the coral in there, they're just not open. So we're going to wait a little bit, and we'll shoot another video for that. But you know what? I'm going to tell you, in my battle with the algae, this Microbacter 7 is some really good stuff here. I mean, I cycled 2 tanks with it. It's some of the slowest cycling I've ever seen. It took me about a month to cycle the 210 and back. With my 150 gallon, I did it within 3.5 weeks, and with my frag tank, it took 3 weeks. And I've also been using this Vibrant stuff here. So these are really some good products. If you don't have them, put them in your arsenal of chemicals to have for your tank, because they really do help. And this gel, this BSI gel that I've been using, it just makes the coral plugging onto the rock so much easier. So until next time, people, reefing is a journey. Let's take it together. Peace.